Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here and you are looking for someone building a church house, hang out with us. We've postponed that project for a little while until lumber prices go down, but we are working on something. We're actually building an off-grid small cabin out in the woods. So welcome, hope you stick around. Today, what we're gonna do is kind of a little bit of a tutorial. My wife, Allie, reminded me that not everyone grew up with a guy who built stuff for a living. So, you know, I knew how to lay out a stud wall by the time I was 6 or 7 or 8 years old. So, kind of not fair for somebody else who has never done that to know what's going on. So, we're gonna do a little kind of a show and tell today. Going to explain the structure of what we're building. We're also going to do some work on the posts that are going to go down in the ground to accept the platform, the base of the cabin itself. So we're going to do some prep work there. And yeah, so that's what we're doing today. So hang out and let's get some sawdust on us. What I've built here is a mock-up of basically the singular building block of construction. This is a mini stud wall, which you have as a bottom plate, a top plate, and then your actual studs. And so what you do is with a regular 8-foot tall wall, these would be 8 foot or cut down depending, or 9 feet depending on how tall your wall is. You probably have another one on top of here, which is called a top plate. This might actually be sitting on another board like this, which is probably treated if it's sitting on ground contact or concrete blocks or concrete, and this is treated while this stuff would not be. And so this is the structure. And so what you do is you nail to the top of here into these studs. You usually do it laying on the ground, and then you get a bunch of people or multiple people and you literally stand it up. You then nail through here, or bolt or screw, or however strength you're going to do, whatever level of strength you're going to do, and you nail that on, and there's your studs. The outside will have some sort of siding, you'll have insulation inside, and then this will be the inside of your house with drywall or shiplap wood or whatever you're doing. This is also the same exact construction for your floor. As you saw, what you're doing when you're laying this down is literally, that's your floor, and then your plywood goes right on top. So these then, instead of being called studs, would be called floor joists. For our application, this is going to be the basic layout of our little cabin. We will have 12-foot boards on the side. These are the 8-foot boards you saw me cut down in the last video, and so the outside measurement from here to here will be 8 feet. Plywood comes in 8 feet by 4 feet dimensions, and so what we will do is you will lay down a full sheet of plywood on top times 3, and that will be your floor. Now that you've seen the floor, I'm going to give you a little sneak peek into the foundation. So this is our 6x6, and what I've done is I have actually cut down the side of this on 2 sides. And so what that looks like from above, see if I can do this, is I've cut off this. And what that does is when you actually make your floor, which we've already made. Now imagine this is taller lumber, but this then sits down on there. Of course, this will be taller. These are 4 feet instead of 8 inches, or 4 inches instead of 8 inches. But what you do is you then screw into this side, and you screw into this side. This sits solid, and the bottom of this post is in concrete in the ground. And that's your floor. So now that you've seen the makeup of how the floor is going to sit onto this 6x6, it's going to sit right here on this notch. So we're going to notch out here, and we're going to for this end, and we're going to notch out here for the side. So what I've done here is I've drawn the line at the width of the end measurement of that board, of that 2x8 that's going to sit on there. So what I've done is I've marked down there. And what we're going to do is we're going to make consecutive cuts all the way back here. So the way that you get that is you take your saw, and my saw has a marker on the end back here, but sometimes those aren't right. So what you do is you set your blade, and this is not plugged in, by the way, you set your blade to that line, and that way when you make your cuts across here, all of those will be at the depth, which is the width of the board. The next measurement we've taken is to do the height of the board. So what we've done here is we've measured down, and what you want is to leave a little bit to where the board, I have a little piece here of what I cut off last week, I want it to hang over a little bit, because you don't want this, your post, bumping up where your sheets of plywood for your floor are going to go. You want there to be a little bit of expansion and contraction, so we're going to leave about a 1/2 inch. So what we've done is we've measured to this point. So at this point, we have our end mark and we have our height mark. And so what we're going to do is make a bunch of cuts all the way through this board, and we're going to do that on 2 sides. So I have some more cleaning up to do of these, but don't need to bore you with that. So just to give you an idea, just there'll be one on each corner, and that floor will sit on there and be screwed onto it. And so you're not confused. The actual height will be of those boards will be that high, so it'll actually be underneath. So these boards will actually be that board. Okay, so that's it for today's video. I have 2 more posts to do. I'm not going to bore you with watching me do the same exact work over and over again, but now you get the idea. Hopefully that makes sense, what we showed you today. If it doesn't, post a comment. If you think there's a better way to do it, post a comment. I am not an expert. I do not do this for a living. This is merely stuff that I have learned growing up, and some of it might be completely wrong, but it works, and it works for us here. I know I have one friend who's watching from Germany. I definitely don't think this is how they do construction over there, at least not with the same dimensional lumber. So, as always, if you have not yet subscribed, please do. Please hit the like button. That helps get our content out to other folks around the world, which is kind of fun to be able to share that with folks all over the place. So thank you for watching. Appreciate you, and catch you on the flip side.